Good morning, Card Media. It's RJ back with another video. So let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. This is from, let me double check the year, 2021. Topps Tribute Green Parallel, number to 99. Let's talk about these kind of cards before. These are some of the high-end card sets that Topps put out. Tribute, Museum Collection, Triple Threads, a couple other hard to come by sets. And in order to get one of these cards, you're shelling out a couple $100, sometimes even more if you want to get some of the definitive or really crazy briefcase, limited edition $50,000, $25,000 briefcase packages. So you're not going to get these cards easily, except if you wait a couple years afterwards and look on the bay, you can get them for a couple bucks. So I've really learned that, wait a couple years. This is 2021. Get this card for like $1 or $2. Even though its original box list price, it was several $100s likely to get the tribute box. So anyway, Green Parallel 2001, Mike Schmidt. Today's random baseball item of the day. If you saw my Wednesday video, you saw me showing off some of the 1989 box sets I picked up. Several of those were the Score box sets. Well, I also picked up a 1991 Score Young Superstars. Again, I told you before, they're very ugly cards. I don't know why Score went so basic on this, but they always look the same. Logo, very bland names, very bland color schemes. These are not worth a ton of money, but they do have a couple cool ones. In fact, the 1989 one that I showed off the other day has a Ken Griffey Jr. inside of it, a Gary Sheffield, and a Randy Johnson. So other rookie cards you didn't know about for those players can be had in the Score Young Superstars box. But again, those don't hold the value of the more common rookie cards we're all aware of that you find on the register. So just letting you know they're out there. So this was the 1991. I'm still, like I said, working on my way to get every box set ever released. Here's who's in the 1990 Young Superstars set number 2. All right. Today's trivia question. I have up there a cool card. Like I showed on Wednesday, this is a 2021 Topps Archives, but this is Cal Ripken. Again, does not have his entire Major League career. Whatever reason, Topps chose to just limit the range of stats that it showed and not give this entire set, but it's a cool Hall of Fame card of Cal Ripken. If that's something you're interested in, 2021 Topps Archives card of Cal Ripken. If you can answer this question, there have been a number of perfect games pitched, but only 8 perfect games were pitched by Hall of Famers. I want you to name me every one of those 8 Hall of Fame players to ever pitch a perfect game. All right? Send me an email with that answer in it. I will include my email in the description below, along with a repeat of that question. You will have today and tomorrow to answer. We will pick a winner on Sunday, all right? Good luck to everybody on that. Now, today, I purchased a card recently. Purchased one of my first big boy cards. I was going to show it off because it was part of one of my set registries. But PSA went up and shook up the world, and I'm going to talk about that for a second. Here we go. So I'm going to show off this card right here. This is my 1930. Let me make a stop here. This is my 1933 Gaudy Chuck Klein. This is part of my all-time great Philadelphia Phillies PSA set run. They have a list. If you remember, I said there was a list of 34 cards. I showed, look back at my golds video from January 1st. You'll see I talk about it. I'm 8 away. I was 8 away from completing that set. And I picked up a big card to do that. So I was down to 7. And I went on, before I got the card, I just recently got the card, but before I got it, I went on to the set registry to look and see who else I needed to get. Who were the other 7 cards I needed? And then suddenly what I saw was it's no longer 34 cards in the registry of Phillies all-time greats. It has been increased to 43. They added 9 more cards on me. I plan on getting 8 cards this year to finish that set. But oh no. PSA, I'm not sure who sent in the submissions, but PSA chose to increase it by 9 cards. Now I'm not going to go through who some of the 9 cards are. Suffice it to say, several are mediocre players. The Phillies did not have a lot of great players, even the ones that are beloved to the Phillies. Are not like Hall of Fame worthy. But I actually immediately, when I found out that they added that many cards, I immediately picked up 3 of them. Because again, these are little known people, didn't cost a lot of money. And I wanted to, get a head start on picking up the 9 I didn't have. So I snagged 3 of them right away. Let me show you those 3. So for you Philly fans, you'll know these people right off the bat. So let's take them one at a time. First, I will show off the 1984 Topps card of Paul Owens. Now, who is Paul Owens? Here, he is shown as a manager. He was, in fact, the manager of the 1983 Phillies, but not from the start. Pat Corrales started the year with the Phillies as the manager. It was decided he wasn't doing a good enough job. So instead, Paul Owens, who was the general manager of the team, took over as manager on the field. Paul was really old at that time. I don't know how old he was. Let's see when he was born. He was born in 24. So if he's down on the field at 83, he's 59. But I mean, he looked a lot. I hate to pick on Paul, but he looked a lot older than 59 out there. He just did not look like a young, spry guy. Okay, Paul was old, and he had been a long-time general manager. Since like the late 60s, maybe early 70s, Paul Owens was a great GM. He actually did manage, you can see on the back of the card here, he managed the team briefly in 1972. Again, he took over mid-season because they weren't having a great year, and he wanted to evaluate the team before they hired a new manager for the next year. That was probably between the years of Frank Lucchese and Danny Ozark. Anyway, Paul Owens, longtime general manager of the Phillies, front office guy, beloved. They called him the Pope. Lovingly, that was his nickname, the Pope. So that was one of the new people added, and I snagged this card right away, a PSA 9. Another great card, another great Phillies player, one people outside of Philadelphia, again, will not know. Man named John Vukovich. Now, John Vukovich was a very mediocre player. He does have a couple Phillies highlights. He started in the Phillies system. You can see here on the back. This is his rookie, what's considered his rookie card, his first Topps card. It's in the 1973 set. He's obviously with the Milwaukee Brewers. I think this was one of those Photoshop cards. They probably made his jersey look generic as opposed to being a Phillies jersey. But here he is. And you look on the back, he played for the Phillies in 1970 and 1971, primarily infielder, primarily third baseman. He's shown here at second base. But what happened is he was on the mound in 1971. I'm sorry, not on the mound. He was at third base in 1971 when Rick Wise had that awesome no-hitter, pitched a no-hitter, and in the same game hit 2 home runs. Rick Wise had that fantastic day. John Vukovich, if you look at a repeat of that game, Vukovich, they hit the last batter of the game hit a line drive to Vukovich, and he caught it, saving Rick Wise's no-hitter. And after that, he was part of the 1980 World Series team. He went back and forth for the Phillies a couple times. Again, very mediocre player. He did have a stint as a coach with the Cubs. He followed Dallas Green over to the Cubs in the mid-'80s. early to mid 80s, but then he was back with the Phillies later on in his career, certainly in the 90s. He was a member of the Phillies coaching staff in '93 when they went to the World Series. Very beloved member of the Phillies organization. Died of cancer. Oh Lord, close to 15 years ago now. It's been a while since John Vukovic was taken from us. But he is a great member of the Philadelphia Phillies family. And again, all-time fan favorite Phillies, all-time favorite Phillies. That's why he's in there. Certainly not for his play on the field, but because he is a beloved member of the Phillies family. Similarly, this man, a 1984 Topps, I'm sorry, 1984 Fleer, PSA 10, Juan Samuel. Sammy was a rookie for the Phillies. You can see he came up in the Phillies system and made the team. What was it, 1980, 83? He came up for 18 games. Got himself a Fleer card. I don't think he apparently didn't make a Topps card, but the Fleer had a card of him. What he played for the Phillies up until the middle of '89. He was traded to the Mets in the Lenny Dykstra deal in the middle of the 1989 season. Never came back to the Phillies, but was a coach for a number of years for the Phillies, and just was one of those players that people think about in Philadelphia. You think of Juan Samuel as being a Philly, even though he played for the Mets and Dodgers later on in his career. Still a fan favorite in Philadelphia. He comes back for all the alumni games and whatever. So these are the three of the additional players added. Some of the more hard to acquire ones are going to be, there were two T206 cards that were added. There had never been T206 cards in the set before. In fact, where is it? Where did I put it? My, oh gosh, here it is. My Chuck Klein here. That was the earliest card in the registry was this 1933 Gaudy Chuck Klein. Now there are two T206 cards. Sherry McGee, not the error one, the regular one. Sherry McGee is on the PSA set registry, and that, because of the error, makes him a more desirable card, even in basic condition. So it's a couple $100 just to pick up that card, even in a PSA 1. And the other one is a man named Gavy Cravath. He was a T206 picture. He's a great member of the Phillies 1915 squad. Briefly managed the team, was with the team many years in the teen eras, a little bit into the 20s. I don't think he went too far in the 20s, but Gavy Cravath was a great Philly. I'm very disappointed that there's a couple players they didn't have from the early eras. So some of the more obvious ones. Grover Cleveland Alexander, great Hall of Fame pitcher, started his career with the Phillies and is not in that Hall of Fame registry. Ed Delahanty, player from the late 1800s, on the Phillies, Hall of Famer, did not make the cut. Sam Thompson, again, Hall of Fame outfielder for the Phillies in the late 1800s, did not make the set registry. Some of the other great Philly players, Cy Williams, late teens, mid to early 20s, great home run hitter, believe it or not, for the Phillies, didn't make the list. I don't know who else I would have included, but those are some of the older players I would have included that I didn't see on the added to the registry. Other players that were added, I can't complain with. Chris Short was added. He was one of those pitchers of the mid '60s, early '70s Phillies. Chris Short. They added Mike Lieberthal, longtime catcher with the Phillies in the dead eras from the mid '90s to the early 2000s. Mike Lieberthal was added, as was Pat Burrell, our left fielder for the 2008 World Series champions. Pat Burrell was added. I don't know about Pat Burrell being added. I don't know. Most of the other great 2008 Phillies were already added. Jimmy Rollins is already in there. Chase Utley, Shane Victorino, Ryan Howard, they're already part of the set. I don't know who else I would have added, but so those were some of the other names that were added to this set that I've suddenly got to scrounge around and pick up. But again, I was saying all this to let you know that I picked up my first big boy card, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So this covers a number of PSA set registrars, but I'm not on any other PSA set registrars other than the all-time great Phillies that this card is applicable for, but it was certainly the heavy lift. And after adding this card to my list, I was number 9 on that register, and I moved up to number 8 on the registry by picking up this card. And again, I'm not even done. I just picked up 4 cards. I'm up at 30 now. I think I got about 30 out of the 43 cards now. I was 7 cards short. Now I'm 13 cards short because of all the ones they added. Anyway, I got me a 1963 Topps Rookie Stars Pete Rose. I picked me up a PSA 3 freshly graded Pete Rose card. I like the centering. It's not perfect. It's a little off left to right. It has a bit of a dinged corner down here. But in all other respects, it's a pretty dang good looking card. And I did not reach the combo level for this card in a PSA 3 when I saw the price point, not hitting the combo level, thinking this card is well worth the combo level. I snagged it. I didn't tell the wife, so don't tell the wife. But I got in my collection now a Pete Rose rookie card. That is for my all-time great Phillies PSA set registry. It came with the eBay guarantee and whatnot. It's interesting too. When I bought the card, it wasn't sent out right away. It was actually sent to an authenticator before it came to me. In the tracking that PSA provider or eBay provided, it followed it. Oh, it's at the hand. It was sent to the authenticator. Oh, the authenticator received it now. Oh, it has been authenticated. It's being sent to you now. So it took a couple weeks after buying it for it to get to me. I don't know if I'll leave it in the eBay thing. I guess you're supposed to. It proves it's authentic, but at the same time, the PSA slab alone, as far as I'm concerned, proves it's authentic. But I might just leave it in here just to save time. But this was a huge pickup for me. Certainly one I'm very glad to have pulled the trigger on. It's one of the ones I had to pull the trigger on in order to get this set complete. I still have some big boy cards to pick up for the E95 Philadelphia Caramel 1909 set. So this is the first of many I'm going to have to pull the trigger on this year and next. But again, happy to have done so. But again, with 9 new cards, I'm going to have to readjust my goals. I don't know that I can complete the set this year. I just don't think so. So my goal was to get 8, which would have finished the set. I've already got 4, and it hasn't even been a month yet. So can I get all of the other 13 I need? Don't know. Let's just say this. My goal was to get 8. If I get 4 more, that's 9. I still need, let's say by the end of the year, I hope to have, let's go with 10. So I will get a minimum of 6 more, which means at the end of this year, I'll still need 7 to complete the registry, unless they bump it up again. And again, I wouldn't be sad if they bumped it up again. It's a labor of love to get all-time great Phillies cards. It really is. But it really annoyed me the other day when I saw that they had bumped it up because I thought I was getting close. And they stuck it to me. They stuck it to me. I wasn't happy. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. I really do appreciate it. Come back again on Sunday. We're going to go through all the trivia questions and pick winners for all the different days. If you haven't done so, go back and throw out an entry, all right? Appreciate you all watching. Thanks for taking in your time out. Take care.